Hello, and welcome to Game Night. This week we are playing One Night Ultimate Werewolf, a social deduction game for 3 to 10 players, where one player is a werewolf, and the rest of the players are villagers. The villagers are trying to figure out who among them is the werewolf, and the werewolf is trying to blend in as best as they can. It plays, there's a lot of games that play like this. You may have heard of Mafia, or The Resistance. We did on the channel a game night of Secret Hitler. But what's different about this is it only lasts one round. It's very quick, 10 minutes or less. It also comes with a free app that you can use that sort of runs the game for you. The way the game works is everyone will close their eyes, and the app will go through the different roles in the game, and every player will take their action. So for example, if they happen to be a seer, they can look at someone else's card. If they're a robber, they can swap cards with someone, and so forth. There's tons of roles in the game. Once that's done, everyone will open their eyes and the players just talk. They try to figure out who among them is the werewolf, who's the most suspicious. Now you can say whatever you want. You can lie. If you're a werewolf, you can say that you're the seer. But you want to try to give people enough useful information that they can trust you. So for example, I might say, okay, I'm the seer, but I'm not going to tell you which card I looked at until I know who I can trust. Do the players believe me or not? Well, that's up to my persuasion skills, mostly. So the way players win, the villagers, if there is a werewolf among them, because there will be some roles in the middle of the table that no one is using. But if there is a werewolf playing the game, they must, by majority vote, signal out that player and vote them to be hanged. If they do so, the villagers win. They also win if there is no werewolf in the game and they don't hang anyone. The werewolf wins if they make a mistake, if they hang someone that is innocent. That's pretty much how the game works. It's fast and furious. You're going to want to play it over and over again with all the different roles. So let's see who can be trusted and who had a midnight snack in One Night Ultimate Werewolf. So, welcome to Game Night.
Yep.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
What's up?
Yep. Hello.
I'm going to shuffle these rolls.
Okay.
So we are playing with 2 werewolves.
2 werewolves.
The seer.
Seer.
The robber.
Robber.
The troublemaker.
Troublemaker.
And the villager.
Okay.
So the werewolves are on a team. Everyone else is on the villager's team. The app will explain, but the seer can look at someone else's card, or 2 cards in the middle. The robber can steal someone's card and look at that card. So swap, basically. But he knows what he now is. The person he swapped with doesn't know that they got swapped. Troublemaker swaps 2 people at the table, and the villager.
So if
is
at
just
any
around.
point I look at my card afterwards and I have the werewolf, I'm then the werewolf, right? Regardless of the before times.
If you're the robber, yes.
What about the troublemaker? Like if the troublemaker swapped me, as long as when I open my eyes and I look, I am now the werewolf, right?
You do not get to look at what you are, unless the app tells you. So only the robber can look.
Doesn't the seer know what he is?
The seer knows what someone else is.
But they don't know that they're the seer?
But he has to know that he's a seer. Right?
Yeah, but the seer happens before the robbery happens.
Okay.
So afterwards you don't look at your card?
So after you look at your
So
card,
I don't
you're
even
not
know
allowed
what
to
I
look at your
am
card?
afterwards?
Correct.
I could be a werewolf?
You could be.
Well then how do I...
How do you...
Okay, are you sure?
I'll double check.
Because what side am I rooting on? I'm going to hang someone
certain
else?
roles change other players' cards.
The
Some
werewolves
players
do.
will believe they are one role when they are actually a different one.
All right.
After the night phase, your role is the card that is currently in front of you, which may be different than the original. No one may look at any cards after the night phase.
So you could go the entire time going for the werewolf, and then you're not one.
I guess.
I thought the werewolves know who they are, though.
At the start.
Yeah.
At the start, but once it changes, then you
Yeah.
don't get to see it. Look.
But what's going to happen is people are going to give information. Like I might come out and say, I'm the robber, and I switched your cards.
Yeah.
And you might believe me or not believe me.
Or the troublemaker.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like a different game, pretty much.
Yeah. There's One Night Resistance, there's One Night Vampire, there's all kinds of different versions.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so
So
let's
I
pass these
could
out.
I could believe I'm a werewolf and not be a werewolf.
And then there's 3
I didn't know there was a cure.
in the center.
All right, we'll make sure that we push these ones.
We don't get to look at ours right now.
No, you look at it now.
All right, guys. So I'm the troublemaker. I'm gonna switch Shane and Rick. No particular reason, just because, and we'll see what happens.
All right, I am the seer, and playing these kind of games before, I need to figure out what Aaron is, because he's the linchpin. I need to be able to play off of him. I'm going to see what he is, and then I'm able to form a strategy, as much strategy as I possibly can.
Okay, so I'm the villager. Now, as long as no one fucks with my shit, I'll be fine.
Alright, so One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Never played this version of the game. I've always played the multi-night games, and I've never lasted long because I have facial hair. Everyone always accuses me of being a werewolf. So, in usual fashion, I am a werewolf for the first game. And I don't know how this works. I'm just going to hope for the best. I know Rick is my werewolf partner, so I'm going to try to keep us alive.
Calvin and I are werewolf brothers. We got this.
Everyone, close your eyes. Werewolves, wake up and look for other werewolves. If there is only one werewolf, you may look at a card from the center. Werewolves, close your eyes. Seer, wake up. You may look at another player's card, or two of the center cards. Seer, close your eyes. Robber, wake up. You may exchange your card with another player's card, and then view your new card. Robber, close your eyes. Troublemaker, wake up. You may exchange cards between two other players. Troublemaker, close your eyes. Everyone, keep your eyes closed and reach out and move your card around slightly.
Oh, sorry.
That's not. No, Rick, no. That's not a card.
Everyone, wake up.
All right.
What happened?
So now I do not look at what I am. I could be anything now.
Could be anything. All right. So I'm gonna check the footage for no reason, and I'll be right back.
So
Okay.
All
Damn it,
right.
now I just don't know what I am.
Yeah.
I'm angry. I heard a shuffle over
There was a lot of shuffling.
from. It's like
I was
it was over here.
Yeah,
Someone shuffling.
yeah,
mine
I
or
was
yours.
trying
banging
to
my chair against the wall.
Move things around.
Yeah.
I was doing this and
Yeah.
stuff a little bit, and sometimes I'd tap this and
All right. So
crack my neck.
let's think about this. If anyone has any information who can help,
Well, everyone can just say what they are, right?
Well,
Who is the seer?
the werewolves are. It's just the werewolves on that team. Everybody else was on the human teams, right?
exactly.
Okay. All right. I was the seer. All right.
Okay.
And I saw Aaron's thing, and Aaron.
I was
the troublemaker. So
Okay.
when I heard a shuffle, I imagined it was Aaron. But I don't know who he
So
changed.
Aaron fucked with one of our cards.
I don't know.
No.
Guarantee it.
Well, Aaron swapped 2 cards.
Aaron
amongst
swapped 2 cards.
2 people.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying is I heard a slide over here.
I mean, that's very possible. That happens when people are
Well,
swapping
we're
and
both
moving
against
and
the
looking.
werewolves,
Well, I
right?
can't tell direction.
So
or
what did you
sound.
just say? What you
So
did?
I'm at a disadvantage with this game.
Well, why? What are you?
I was a villager.
A villager?
Like before you swapped. Swear to God, I was a villager.
And what about you, Rick?
A villager.
What about you, Calvin?
I was a robber.
A robber.
So what'd you do?
I swapped.
But
with him.
anyway, Aaron,
You traded with Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guessed that right. So I was obviously the thing.
Unless you're
seer,
both werewolves and he's just going along with what you say.
We
No,
said it
because
at the same
someone
time.
swiped something over here.
You say each
You
other.
said it
Well-
right after he said it, though.
You say the same thing in reactions all the time.
It's,
You can read each other's minds.
But we're always against each other in these things. This time we're unified.
all right. So what Calvin's saying, though, is that you swapped out with Eric.
That means
you're a robber.
you have a seer. So and then you have the.
Wait,
The
Calvin,
robber.
what?
I swapped with you.
All right. So if that's...
Because
I was the robber.
you're the robber.
So now you're the robber. You have the seer.
So
I
this-
was a villager.
Okay, so he looked at you.
So
Might
this-
have been more useful to look at 2 of those.
Maybe. Why?
Well, because there could be 2 werewolves in there.
There could be, or 1 werewolf. There's a lot of villagers apparently in here, like you, Rick,
Yes.
who were a villager.
There are 3 villagers
I've
in the
played
game.
these types of games before, and it always Aaron is a linchpin in these types of games. This is Secret Hitler, so I need to know what Aaron was.
Well, I can say that whatever
And I know Aaron wouldn't change himself.
Shane is,
Yeah.
and whatever Rick is not what they thought they were because they're swapped.
So those 2 swapped each other. All right, Aaron. Well, whenever I got to see his card, he was the troublemaker. I got to see who he was switching, so I'm kind of trusting what he's saying here. Yeah, unless he's just straight up lying. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as the seer.
So what were you first?
A villager.
You both said villager.
And you were a villager.
So you're both
nothing
saying
changed.
you 2 are villagers.
Which means
Saying
you're both
these 2 are
villagers.
Rick, you look like you're lying.
No, I'm just trying to think. If
Of
You
my
definitely
next
look like you're
line.
lying now.
I'm trying to think
A
about next
werewolf
line.
could be over here, right?
Like, you're definitely a villager now if you switch your cards. I can't say I'm not, but I swear to God I was a villager first.
You could be, Shane, you could be a werewolf.
So
too,
now
you're
Shane
lying.
could be a werewolf and not know.
You know what? I should have not said that. And then Shane just
Yeah.
made it look like he was lying. He was a werewolf the whole time.
So if we believe Aaron, then you swear to God that Rick is now a villager.
Yes, if Aaron swears to God that he switched us.
So Rick,
Which we know he had the ability to
so
do.
you would not be a werewolf now. You would be a villager.
There's no reason he
I was
would
a villager
lie.
before.
Were you were a villager
Everything
before?
is unchanged.
There's no reason that Aaron
Unless
would
you're
lie.
lying to me.
Why would
Because
I
Aaron
lie?
is on the
Because
right
if
side
you're a
of
werewolf, you
humanity.
want us to fucking lose.
But he's not a werewolf now. He's a villager. You're
Exactly.
a werewolf.
You would be the werewolf.
So he would want to
Well, then he
say.
wouldn't
I want
know.
you to crucify me if I am.
So the
So we can crucify you accidentally.
I want to crucify upside down.
You gonna sacrifice yourself for the good of all
Like the
mankind?
Apostle Paul. Yeah.
So there's 2 options. One would be that they're both werewolves.
Yes.
And they're both just saying they're both
I'm not a
villagers.
werewolf.
The other
I wa-
option
I
is that
wasn't
they
a
were both villagers.
Yes.
Because neither one's turning on the other one saying no, they're a werewolf now.
Yeah.
Right? Because if Rick was a werewolf before and knows that he's a villager now, he would want to say, no, I was a werewolf. That means Shane's a werewolf. Hang him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Which then turns me to Calvin, that no one can say yes or no of what
Or
he
they
did.
were both werewolves, and you just happened to swap both the
yeah,
werewolves
but
with each other.
it's Shane, and I don't think he would lie about being a werewolf.
He's lied about it before, though.
So Calvin, you were a robber. Why'd you choose Eric?
I don't know. I felt like that side of the table, I'd have more fun that way.
More fun.
Yeah. I was worried. I
I am fun.
didn't want to bump your arms or anything.
Yeah, he didn't want to bump your arm.
Well, Eric, if he swapped you, you were
I
the
got
seer.
puffy sleeves.
That means that
But it means that he's now the seer and I am
either
the...
he's lying and he never
Yeah.
swapped you, right?
Yeah, true.
Or he's just the seer and you're the robber.
True. I think there's one werewolf, and I think it's
I mean,
now Shane.
I'm thinking. I'm
No, because Rick would say.
Yeah, if Rick is because I was a villager, all right, and like if you know you're the wolf, you would say to everyone that I'm the fucking wolf because you'd want me to hang.
I think there's either 2 wolves, which would be those 2, or there's 1 wolf, which would be Calvin. What? I think those are the options. The reason I think that is because if there's 2 wolves, then they're still working together. They both knew they were the werewolves. Or they were both villagers. They've been swapped, and they're just that. Because if one of them was a werewolf and they're not anymore, there's no reason for them to
You're
lie.
saying that Shane used his God's name in vain.
I think we need to hang Calvin.
I think if anyone,
I don't want to hang anyone yet.
it's either 2 or 1.
We're
Out of
only
how
hanging
many
one
werewolves are.
person, and the game's over.
If you what?
Wait a minute. Wait.
There's one.
Wait a minute.
What?
The werewolf can flip a card if they're the only werewolf, right?
Yes.
Damn it.
What's that mean?
That means what if you're the werewolf and you just looked at my card to tell me and pretend to be the seer?
Oh, no, that's what didn't happen because I had no idea that was a thing.
I thought it was a card in the middle, though.
It's a card in the middle.
Is it a card in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
what
damn.
you're talking
Okay.
about.
All right. Then, okay.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Because
just
then,
making sure that
But I'm glad that I can trust you.
The
That's
instructions
why I
said
looked at your
Card
card.
in the middle.
because
Alright.
then you can guarantee to be faking a role that is not in the game.
So there's a chance there's a werewolf right here, right?
There's a chance there's 2 werewolves there.
Yeah.
There's 2.
Either none of us are werewolves.
Yeah.
Calvin's a werewolf, or Shane and Rick are werewolves. I think those are the options.
So we should probably...
He's not a werewolf. If you switch our cards, I was definitely a villager.
I was.
I believe Shane.
You were not a werewolf.
I was a werewolf.
You were. Wait, why are you changing now?
Because now I believe you.
You believe him?
Well, because I wasn't sure that someone didn't look at the thing in the middle being the only werewolf,
Okay.
right?
There's no
So
reason for him
you
to
were a
lie like
werewolf.
that.
So
he was a werewolf, which
Yeah.
means that when he opened his eyes, he looked at.
Calvin.
He's trying to kill me. I have to find someone else to lay the blame on. All this fuckery, people with powers doing stuff. It's like I'm just a werewolf trying to survive with my pack. My pack is changing. People swapping out. I'm fucked. I'm gonna lose.
What do you mean he looked at you? I thought you can only look at one of those cards.
If you're the only werewolf.
If you're the
Okay.
only werewolf.
Okay, and if you're the single one, you can flip someone's card.
But if he opened his eyes and saw Calvin looking at him, it meant that he was a werewolf and he was never a robber. Or are you fucking with me? Why would you fuck with me?
Why would I fuck?
I don't know. It would make no
Fucking
sense.
with you late in the game.
He wouldn't know if he
he
was.
was- if
I
he was
I'm
switched
a
so
him.
werewolf and hang
originally-
me, I say.
I switched
You
him.
want to offer yourself up as a martyr.
Well, I can't. What can I say?
We gotta do something.
Okay, so
We gotta kill somebody.
Someone has to hang for this, damn it.
I mean, it could be.
Rick just admitted he was a werewolf.
Yes.
So at some point here, he is fucking with things. The order, the natural order.
I think Aaron
Regardless
and
if he's
Rick
not
are working
anymore.
together.
No, absolutely not. Because I
Because
looked
he
at Aaron.
said that he
No,
flipped
I
these
looked
two.
at Aaron.
Huh?
I looked at Aaron. He wasn't one of
He
those.
could have flipped two other people's.
I only flipped two. I flipped Rick and I flipped Shane. I have sheep.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think
I
Calvin.
knew it was mine or
He wouldn't do it to
Eric's.
himself. What do you mean?
As soon as he starts a game like this, he latches onto one other person and
Yeah.
leads them through his madness.
That's not what happened.
That is exacally what happens every time
That's
in
not
Secret
what happened
Hitler.
this time.
I think.
So now
I
maybe
think Calvin's
we should kill
misdirecting.
Calvin.
Gosh.
I think Calvin's misdirecting.
Every time.
Well, then why would Rick say
definitely
he
not
was a
Aaron.
werewolf?
Yeah, why would Rick say he's a werewolf?
Because Rick's not a werewolf now. Because I swapped him, right?
Yeah.
Which means the werewolf that we have to hang would be the person I swapped him with, which would be Shane. Which
Yeah.
was unaware before.
Yes. Shane does not know if he's a werewolf or not.
I have no idea unless I look.
So if that's a situation,
All we know is that Aaron, who has the ability, claimed to
swap.
switch those two, and I believe it.
And I claim to be a werewolf. His
Yes.
partner was Calvin at the beginning of this
so that
game.
means it would be Calvin and Shane. Calvin lied about being a robber because he just needed an out somehow,
Yeah.
versus being another villager.
So you said, as the werewolf, you saw Calvin's card, which is also a werewolf. Is that what you're saying?
No,
You
I'm
said?
saying when the app said
Their-
werewolves open your eyes,
their eyes
Calvin
opened
and I
up.
looked at each other and smiled.
You little shit, Calvin.
But now
I
that
don't-
you know it's changed, you're on the human side.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm trusting Aaron that he swapped me.
And there would be no
I don't know
reason-
that he swapped me.
I know he had the ability.
If he bluffed me, I'm fucked. And
Yeah.
I've ruined my chances as the werewolf.
I feel like I trust. Yeah, I think Aaron swapped you. I know he could have, and that's the first thing he said when he came out.
So Calvin, what were you?
Should we
Before he had all this information, Aaron said that. So
should we be like talking about it in this type of way, like the mechanics of like who was what?
that's how you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how
Because
you're
like,
supposed
I
to
feel like
win.
you can narrow
No,
it down.
Father Mark down at the river.
No, unless like a person decides to fuck with everybody when they're not a werewolf. I feel like you can narrow it down.
Yeah, but I mean, Calvin could have said, "No, I was the troublemaker, and I swapped Eric and Aaron."
Well,
you know, and then
well,
you're
we would
like,
still
and
have an
then Rick
idea.
would be like, "Oh wait, I was the werewolf. No, I didn't get swapped in." So Aaron's lying, or is Calvin lying? You know, he could be like, "Who's lying?"
Well, we'd have an idea. It was one of those two, though.
It depends how the werewolves lie.
And it depends on how the rolls go,
Okay.
right? Like this
I
is
wish
like,
I could see what I was.
this is a,
What you are now?
Yeah.
a very quick game that you play over and over again. Like
Yeah.
sometimes the werewolves are just screwed because all the rolls are out.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I have no reason then to not trust Rick if he was a werewolf for him
Yeah.
to come out and say, "No, I was a werewolf. Shane is now a werewolf." It
you're-
makes no sense from a villager perspective, but it makes lots of sense from a werewolf perspective
And you're-
of believing Shane
You're
was a
basing
villager.
that on the fact that you did switch those two, which
Yeah.
I know you had the ability to, so I'm going to go along with you.
So I would say then that we should trust Rick and hang Calvin.
All right, so Eric called me out on who I was pretty quick. I feel like I can trust him. And then working with my switcheroos between Shane and Rick, I convinced Rick that, hey, if you were a werewolf and Shane wasn't, we better hang him, right? So we got enough information to know Calvin's a werewolf, Shane's a werewolf. Eric, and Rick have this in the bag.
Okay, well, if they're telling the truth, which I don't think they know the game enough to lie, then I've switched with Shane. So Shane is the werewolf. So let's hang that son of a bitch. Sorry, Calvin.
That's my.
You got to hang me too, wouldn't you?
No, we only have to hang one.
And you're on our choice. You're gonna go with us. Okay. Hey, Calvin. I say yay.
Yay!
Hey, Calvin.
Majority rule.
Calvin.
Calvin is hanged. Werewolf.
Just be honest.
Villager. So Shane.
Just be honest.
Shane flipped it.
Shane is
not
also
my
a
job.
werewolf.
Could you
Rick.
imagine
Not
if
my
I?
job, to be honest.
Could you imagine if I wouldn't have said I did that?
Yep.
And then Shane would be like, "I'm a villager," and then flipped
Yep.
like, "What the hell?"
I would still say I was a villager unless someone split
Yeah.
me.
I was the redhead. I was so happy to be the redhead.
I was the seer, as I said.
All right, with everything that happened, I was quite certain that Calvin was a werewolf, and believed Eric because Eric looked at me. I was a troublemaker. I had done some switcheroo stuff going on, so luckily I had enough information from Eric to believe and trust who he was and that we could work together, and it worked out well.
Here we go.
Everyone, close your eyes. Werewolves, wake up and look for other werewolves. If there is only one werewolf, you may look at a card from the center. Werewolves, close your eyes. Seer, wake up. You may look at another player's card, or two of the center cards. Seer, close your eyes. Robber, wake up. You may exchange your card with another player's card, and then view your new card. Robber, close your eyes. Troublemaker, wake up. You may exchange cards between two other players. Troublemaker, close your eyes. Everyone, keep your eyes closed and reach out and move your card around slightly.
That's not a card. No. Stop touching my dick.
Wake up.
That wasn't your dick.
All right.
All right, I'm this.
We're back.
Okay.
I almost looked at it, but I did not.
That's like when you grab a card. Usually you want to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. What do we know?
Well, Shane's the werewolf. Look at him.
I'm not.
He's sitting there like,
He's distancing himself from his card
When
as
I
much as
went
possible.
to sleep, I was a villager.
"You were a villager."
So was I.
Plain and simple.
Who's the seer?
But
Do
there
we
might
have a
not be
seer?
one.
Might not be a
It
seer.
doesn't-
Yeah,
Sounds like
it might
there
be
is
in the
a
middle.
Oh boy.
Nobody's copying
It's
to
gonna
it.
be a little
Anybody
trickier.
troublemaking?
Or robbing.
I was a robber. I switched with Eric.
Okay, guys, if Shane is truthful in what he just said, this game's over because I'm no longer a werewolf. I'm a person. I know he's a werewolf. I know I'm the only one. It's going to be great. So let's just finish this real quick. You switch with me.
Yes.
So now you could be a werewolf.
If you switch with me, you are a werewolf, and you are the only werewolf, and we should kill Shane.
And I think you fucked it, Shane. Because I believe Eric.
Damn it.
That's why you might not want to be
Or he's looking.
completely truthful.
He's looking for this opportunity. Him and Aaron might both be werewolves, and he's protecting Aaron.
Eric? You mean?
Yeah.
And Aaron?
I have no
Aaron.
affiliations or ties to this man.
I don't know. He was reveling in Eric's plan.
I mean, that's good, but the thing though is like,
I believe Eric
Yeah.
because I know how frustrated Shane will be. And I want to see that happen.
If what Shane said is true, then I was the werewolf. I looked at that card because no one else was a friend of mine. And
So
that
Calvin-
was and that was a villager. And if Shane is truthful in that he took my card and switched our cards,
I
then he
did.
is now a werewolf, and he will be happy to die.
I can't take it back. I was.
I was a robber. That's
Yeah,
what he
dude,
said.
I don't like this.
All right. So in this scenario, then Eric now is the robber. Then Shane is the werewolf. Calvin is a,
Villager.
and Rick is a villager.
Villager.
Everybody seems to be good, except Shane swapped with Eric. Now there's doubt there. Who's what and what's who. I think I'm going to trust Eric. this late in the game telling everyone that he was a werewolf and now Shane's a werewolf. That's good, right? If we kill him, then everything's good. Shane should have looked at his card.
I know Rick is a villager because I was a seer, and I looked at Rick to know if I could trust this man.
Things seem to be okay. I think we should all just
All right.
Hang
call
Shane.
it
Shane.
in, call and kill Shane.
I'll hang Shane.
Well, this is quick. Shane's a werewolf. Hang.
Vote? Yeah. Shane is gonna die.
I played my hand too early. I let Eric know that I let everyone know that I switched with Eric. Eric happened to be the werewolf. So now once again, I'm the werewolf. That's okay because I want to die.
Hang Shane.
Shane, what do you say? He killed Shane, and he is the werewolf.
So there's nothing. You were a villager
Yeah,
then?
I was a villager.
Just a villager.
Dude, I looked at.
It sucks not knowing what you are.
Yeah, it does.
I think it takes away from it a little tiny bit, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
Well, because like if he would have if I would have been like I was the robber and I switched with Eric, you'd be like, oh, he's the werewolf, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I was the seer. I looked at Rick.
Yeah.
Rick's a villager. You're a werewolf. You know, like
Yeah.
I could play it something like that.
Sure.
So is it a thing like when a night passes and a werewolf isn't killed, does a werewolf now know what they are? Like, can we all look at our thing maybe? Because technically a werewolf, like the next night, would know, right? I guess it's a moon, but still.
What?
I don't know. Never mind.
There's only one night.
Yeah.
What?
That's right. It's single night. I
Yeah.
forgot that it was not.
Either the villagers win or
singles
lose.
night.
Okay.
Everyone, close your eyes. Werewolves, wake up and look for other werewolves. If there is only one werewolf, you may look at a card from the center.
All right, third game. Here it is. I'm a werewolf again. I open my eyes across the table. I see Eric. All right, this is pretty good. I feel confident. Eric is a good one to stir up some shit, causing doubt and distrust and everything like that.
All right, I'm the werewolf again, but this time I have Calvin, who is going to be a great teammate. We're not going to betray each other or anything like that. It's going to be fantastic. It's got to be careful about people switching cards around, but I'm excited to do the werewolf right this time.
Damn it, Rick's a werewolf. I knew it.
Close your eyes. Seer, wake up. You may look at another player's card, or two of the center cards. Seer, close your eyes.
All right, I got a robber. I need to pick somebody to trade with. I'm going to trade Eric and then see how this works out. Either I can trust him or I can't.
Robber, wake up. You may exchange your card with another player's card, and then view your new card.
Fuck! I got the werewolf. All right, at least I know that Eric is going to think he was the werewolf, and I'll use that to my advantage.
Robber, close your eyes.
This round, I'm the troublemaker. I know how to cause trouble. Caused trouble my whole life.
Troublemaker, wake up. You may exchange cards between two other players. Troublemaker, close your eyes. Everyone, keep your eyes closed and reach out and move your card around slightly. Everyone, wake up.
Taking my treasure and I'm out.
That's not how this game works.
Oh, right.
All right.
Now no one wants to say anything.
So who's the werewolf?
Not me. Not this time. There might even be a werewolf.
Villager.
I don't trust Eric. Who? I don't trust Eric.
I don't even know what to say now.
I mean, I got to know if there was a seer or if there was a robber and what they
Or a
did.
troublemaker.
So I will help.
Mm-hmm.
I was a villager.
Thank you, Rick, for that enlightenment. That's so helpful of you.
Yeah. I was a villager.
Who was a seer?
Was there a seer?
Well, no one said they're the seer. Let's take that role for myself.
I was.
You were the seer?
Again?
And what did you do?
I looked
in
at
a row.
Eric, and Eric is a werewolf.
So either he is the werewolf bluffing, or he is the seer.
Well, here's the thing. I was a troublemaker. I switched Eric and Rick.
Aaron is the seer. And he confirmed that Eric was the werewolf. And now Shane's coming forward and saying that he swapped Eric and Rick. Rick's my buddy now? I'm going to try to keep him alive. I can't overplay my hand. Otherwise, I'm going to get lumped in too, and we'll both swing. This is getting quickly confusing.
Which would mean that Rick is the werewolf.
Unless you're fucking lying.
No.
Or you're lying.
No.
I'm not
Wait,
lying.
did you switch him and him?
I switched him, and I'm pretty sure it was fucking you.
So then it's gonna...
It said close your eyes. It was telling me to hurry up. I'm like, damn it, I had to throw it down.
the thing's gonna come then to like Eric, like if he's the werewolf, and he would know who the other werewolf is.
He would.
He would either turn
But
on
does
Rick
he
You
trust
switched
or
you
not
and
turn
Rick.
on Rick.
I switched you and Rick.
Oh, me and Rick.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was the seer, not Aaron, and I saw that you were the what's it called?
Troublemaker.
Troublemaker.
Eric's not the seer. There's no way. He's trying to misdirect. I don't even know what his game is. My thought now is Rick and Eric are both werewolves, and we gotta hang them. Gotta hang them.
Now Eric's saying he's the seer, so that would make Rick the seer, and Eric a villager. Nobody believes that. They're still gonna try and hang Rick. I don't know what I can do to stop them from hanging Rick. Aaron's really gung-ho. I can do nothing except let it happen.
But I don't know what to believe. Because Aaron says he's a seer. Eric says he's a seer. But I'm pretty sure Eric was a werewolf. And he told us about Shane being a troublemaker. But he said it after Shane already revealed that he was a troublemaker. So he could be lying. Aaron has that grin on his face. It means he knows something none of us doesn't know. But is he actually the seer and he knows? Is that...
Okay, now he's changed his story for the third time. But I don't know. I really don't know what to believe. I do know I switched Rick and Eric. Okay? And they're both pretty convinced it's Aaron. But at the same time, we all think it's Rick. I really don't know what to believe. Okay?
It was not Aaron.
Huh?
You are not the seer.
I am.
No, you were not.
So then Aaron is the werewolf, or we are both the werewolves. Is the only
You are not
possible
the seer.
explanation.
Then you're both the werewolf.
Aaron is the werewolf.
Aaron is the werewolf.
No.
He's at least one.
We only need to get one.
How did this turn on me when all I said I knew he was a werewolf and then you guys swapped? So then what is he?
I don't know.
You would if you guys got swapped.
Then I'm the seer.
Well, then he's a
So
villager.
then what is he?
I don't know what he is.
A villager.
You
You guys are both fucking
you
werewolves.
didn't know what you were. Right?
Huh?
You just said you didn't know what he was when you knew that he switched
No, I
you.
just stayed quiet when we first started saying the things.
I think Eric's lying because
No.
he was the werewolf, and I think Rick's a werewolf with him, and I think you swapped two werewolves.
I was definitely not the werewolf at the beginning of this game. I was.
Then
the
I don't
villager.
know
He
what-
would be the seer now. I would be a villager if you swapped us. But when I was the
But
seer,
Aaron claimed to be the seer. So either
I am.
Aaron or Eric is lying.
I am or I was, unless Shane swapped me with somebody.
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
You swapped me?
No, I'm pretty sure it was this too.
Okay. Then Rick is a werewolf, and whatever Eric is whatever Eric is.
Calvin has been very quiet.
I'm just trying to work this out. It's like one of y'all is
Is
lying.
it too big for your werewolf brain?
No, I'm trying to remember what steps were in what order as far as like checking cards.
Who was
and
everyone at
revealing and
first?
everything like
Who was
that.
everyone at first?
I
I
was
was
a
the
seer.
seer.
Seer checks
No,
first.
I was a seer.
I was the
Right?
seer.
I was a seer. He was a werewolf, and I checked him because it's the werewolves open their eyes, and then the seer does their thing, and then the robber, and then the troublemaker.
Werewolves?
Right?
I mean,
So he was a werewolf. I don't know after he
I
got
was
swapped.
the seer. I saw that you were the troublemaker. You switched. I believe you.
Werewolf, seer,
How do you know I was
robber,
troublemaker?
troublemaker.
Because you just said you were.
You know, he
I know,
did
but
not.
you said you knew who I was
no,
after
I know
said
you're
it.
the troublemaker because I'm the seer.
You said that after I said I was a troublemaker.
Yeah, 'cause I was waiting just like you guys said to do that the last 3 rounds.
I feel like you brought this in as like, no, hang on, no, I'm not the werewolf.
No, I didn't. I took
Let me
everybody's
cover for me and Rick.
advice
Well, but
and make sure other people say things first that I can
Exactly.
then validate.
if we were swapped, then Eric is now a villager. He would not be helping the werewolves.
Unless you're the werewolf.
He doesn't know. He can only go on what he last was, or or what he knows you were. If he believes me.
He would know if he was a werewolf. He would know that I am a werewolf.
Yes. Which is when he started like accusing
And
me.
if I said I swapped you two, you guys are the same fucking thing.
Yeah, he didn't start saying about accusing me until after he said he swapped you two.
Because
So now,
I was just validating that Shane is what he said he is.
well, what I'm saying though is that if Eric,
I don't know if Shane, what he said, what he did exactly was the right thing.
So you looked
but
at
he's
Eric
not a werewolf.
and
I
Why
looked
would
at
I
Eric.
lie if I'm not a
Eric
werewolf?
was
I
a
don't know.
werewolf. Now, without me being a seer, if Eric was a werewolf and it got swapped after he found about that, that's when he brought in that I was someone else. But he didn't turn on someone else that would have been a werewolf. Which makes me think that they're both werewolves, and he's trying to find a way to cover for Rick and not say, well, Rick's a werewolf, because then he loses too.
well, we're definitely not both werewolves
Why?
because I was not a werewolf
That's what a werewolf would say.
when I started.
Then why didn't he turn on you?
Because you're the werewolf.
I'm not the werewolf!
It explains everything.
It would explain things.
What about you, Calvin?
I'm a villager.
Everyone's a damn villager in this game.
There's a lot of villagers.
And a seer.
Yeah, there's 2 seers, 2 villagers,
And a troublemaker.
and a werewolf, which I think is you now. Which I'm basing on.
Well, if you think it was me, then it was me regardless. Because we would both have to be it for your scenario to make sense.
Yes, but I don't know for sure what you're doing or what kind of game Eric is playing. But the only way I know there's a werewolf is if we hang you.
I don't know. We're not leaving to be settled.
I mean-
it's 5 o'clock. I'm
Does make sense.
not gonna hang the wrong man like the Puritans.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
I get what you're
That's what
saying.
I'm saying.
Like, it's kind of wraparound logic, but
I'm
It
just going
depends
on what I know.
Eric
Yeah.
believes, I guess. Because I was not a werewolf when we started.
Okay. Well, Eric's lying because he was not a seer. He was
Because
a
you were the seer.
He was a werewolf.
And you saw him being a werewolf.
Yes.
Which means I am a werewolf.
In my
So
theory,
you absolutely switched me and him.
Yeah. I mean, 99% sure.
how are you not 100% sure?
I grabbed yours and I was like,
I know without a doubt that I looked at Eric's. I don't know how you don't know without a doubt of who you swapped.
it would have been the 2
because
on
I was
the end.
rushing in the end.
I gotta give a little bit of wiggle room.
I would bet
And
100.
Rick, you claim to be a what when you started?
I started as a villager.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Shane, he's fucking with all of us. He doesn't know for sure which cards he switched. I hope he was right. I hope that Aaron was lying and bluffing and that Eric knows what he's doing. I hope that Rick can't be so obvious that he's the werewolf and now he's trying to fight the other end of the table. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just have to write this out.
Okay. Well, I thought I was catching, making people think I was catching Aaron in a lie, but maybe now it's kind of backtracking on me now. I might not even be a werewolf anymore if what they're saying is true. So the only thing I can really think of in a surefire way to make sure I win is throw Calvin right under that bus. If those 2 things are true, then we should kill Rick.
He was a werewolf. He was a werewolf.
Because he's a werewolf now.
Wait a second.
Because now
He was never the seer.
if we got switched, then I am what. If you switch us two, I am no longer on the werewolf side. I am defecting, and I will tell you that Calvin is my co-conspirator. He is also a werewolf.
Now I don't know what.
Okay, so that means that it is now Rick and Calvin. You have 2 werewolves in this bunch. If in fact you switch me and Rick,
Well, if it's both you and you just want to make sure you stay alive.
I
Now,
think
what-
I think the safest option would be to hang Rick.
Why would he
'cause
have waited
then-
to this moment?
I don't know, but I think you're still a werewolf.
All right, so Eric just dropped the bomb that he was the werewolf. So that means if we did switch, then I'm a werewolf. which means I have no fucking idea what that means. I got nothing. But I want to hang Aaron.
I don't know why he made up the seer thing, except for to try to just toss in some random shenanigan things. But I don't know what Calvin is. I'm assuming he's not lying about the new thing, but I would still assume that with what I looked at, and if I believe Shane really switched him, that you're a werewolf.
Then why would you say what you said earlier about Aaron?
Because I was lying.
Because he was a
Now
werewolf.
I can't trust you.
Okay, well, if you can't trust
Shane,
me, but I can tell you what's
I
going to
looked
happen.
at him,
here.
he was a werewolf, and then if you traded them, and you're positive you traded them, Rick would be a werewolf. I have no idea
Which
about
means
Calvin.
that I was definitely a werewolf, and I know who the other werewolf is. So now that I'm a human, apparently, if I trust this, that means that I also Calvin is a werewolf.
It just doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
Do the werewolves win if the villagers kill another villager?
If they don't kill a werewolf.
If they don't kill a werewolf?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we should vote on Rick.
So if all that is true, then I'm a villager. I need a werewolf to die this round.
Yes.
It's going to be Rick.
I think we should vote on Rick.
Calvin's being really quiet. I'm not really sure what to do. Eric did say that Calvin was a werewolf, so why don't we just hang him? This is really suspicious that him and Aaron are both agreeing to hang Rick, so I'm just going to vote for that. And hopefully we do okay.
All right, guys. So Eric has finally turned. He believes that there's a switch. He believes I was a seer. Apparently, there's no seer here, so it's great. And now I know Calvin is a werewolf, and he's on my side because I'm the werewolf baby. And now I know Rick is the robber. So I just got to convince them enough. Maybe I can convince Calvin to vote, and we can hang Rick, but not me or Calvin because I want to win.
Why not Calvin, though?
Because
I think we
I
should.
just trust you.
Well, he's being the sleazy one, though.
I mean, he's just sleazy. I was being
there.
sleazy.
I don't know any. The reason I say Rick,
I can't say anything. I don't have a role.
Whoever gets the most votes.
I have no information on Calvin. I had information on him, and I'm trusting your information that you swapped him.
Okay.
So I would say we vote for Rick.
So if Aaron gets 2 votes and I get 2 votes and Calvin gets 1.
Here's the thing,
I don't know
Shane.
what happened.
Okay, you definitely switched me and Rick. You definitely did.
Very sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was definitely a werewolf.
Yeah.
That means I know who the other werewolf
Yeah.
is, who is Calvin.
Yeah.
That means I know Rick was not a werewolf, and
Yeah.
I know now
That he
I am
is.
human.
And that you're a villager, because he said he was a villager.
Yeah. Okay, that means if we all decide to kill Rick, then we win the game.
It doesn't make
does.
sense for him to hold that to the end.
It makes sense.
You trying to play the werewolf side now, Rick?
All right.
No.
We gotta vote. I say we vote to kill Rick.
I'll vote on Rick.
I vote Rick. We need a break.
You're acting funny.
I know.
He is acting funny.
But do you trust me?
He's acting funny
No, I
now.
don't, but I don't really know
Okay.
what else to do.
Vote one.
He's changed his story 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you guys not voting to kill Rick?
I am not voting to kill myself.
Okay, Calvin.
Calvin, vote to kill Rick. Kill Rick.
He won't because he's a werewolf.
I feel like we need to kill Aaron.
No.
No.
I looked.
Rick now
there's a werewolf.
knows he's a werewolf.
I'm the only one who brought the
Yeah.
truth.
So
I brought the
just vote.
truth
Me-
here.
Me, you, and Aaron can do it.
Yes.
He votes.
Vote.
That's 3. Rick, you are.
A robber. I told you it was Aaron.
My mind is blown. Aaron was playing us all! By far the best game of werewolf that I've ever played, and I've done nothing. I've just witnessed this great bamboozlery. Eric thought he was doing the right thing, betraying me. he was, but instead of focusing on Rick, who he thought was the werewolf now, since Shane thinks he swapped them, they should have focused on me. If they trusted Eric, then I was a sure thing. And now all this tomfoolery and mind fuckery is going on. Nobody knows what each other is. We made it. Dang. Give me some skin. You're welcome. That was good.
Well, I threw Calvin under the bus and it didn't work. Aaron just snuck in and took the win. My winning streak's just done forever, for weeks now, and now I'm in a losing streak. A true streak. Losing. Damn it.
Well, they're fucking wrong. Aaron swindled all of us. That bald, bitter man. I want him to die. Bald, bitter man.
I was a robber.
Damn it,
You know
Shane.
what I learned in the app?
Yeah.
The robber gets to look at the new card.
Yeah.
What new card?
Yeah.
When
The
you
new
swap,
card
they
that
get
you
to look at the new
steal.
card. So I looked, I'm like, oh, I'm a werewolf. Oh,
Yes.
well, I'll say I was a seer, and I knew he was a werewolf.
Wait, I'm sorry. You get to look at what?
When you rob and switch, you get to look at the
your
new
new
card.
card.
So
Oh, I
I
didn't
knew
know you
you
could
were
do
the
that.
robber, but then when he swapped it, I knew I was playing with the werewolf team. I was trying to get Calvin, you should vote. Calvin, you should vote,
I didn't know
Calvin.
you could do that.
I didn't know.
I knew not to trust Aaron.
So you were the werewolf?
I
was the
figured this
beginning.
was the least.
And
Here's what
dangerous.
happened. Here's what happened. There was no seer, right? These two were the werewolves, and they looked at each other.
Yeah.
Then I was the robber. I swapped my card with Eric's, becoming the werewolf, giving him the robber.
I
Then
thought I
you
heard some fucking shit.
And then you swapped the robber and the villager, giving it to him, thus making him believe, since I said I was a seer, I knew what he really had been. So he
Yeah.
would believe me, hopefully, that he was a werewolf. Then he said he was a seer, screwed me all up. I'm like, fuck.
I was trying to screw some things up in the beginning because I thought like, well, we'll just throw that in there. I'm the only one that knows there's a fuck up in there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you swapped was his robber that had been mine and his villager that had been his.
And I figured I was a werewolf and was just trying to play
Something.
at it. But
Yeah.
I also did not trust you at the beginning when I thought I
I
was
didn't
still
trust
a villager.
Aaron at all in the
So I was
beginning.
like, well, it's Aaron is the werewolf. But then Aaron fucked me up.
There were times,
But I was
where
still telling you
where
to
I
vote
knew
that
Rick
Aaron.
was the werewolf.
I still think
and
you should be able
didn't
to
trust
see
you
what you end
somehow.
up with.
I think
know?
you should see what you end up with too.
Yeah.
Well, that'll ruin everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would ruin everything.
Yeah, if you know what you are. Like, I was playing to Eric knowing that he had been
Exactly.
a werewolf. That's what I, that's
But
my,
you
that's
also
my
knew
whole,
what you were, right?
I knew
That's the
that I
only
had-
way a
yeah.
werewolf could win.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know, like, I didn't know who the other werewolf was until you said Calvin. Like, it could have been Shane. He could have been
Yeah.
lying about being the troublemaker and swapping people.
Why would I have been a troublemaker if I was want to kill the werewolf?
Because
It just so that you can point the fingers of
If you
someone
were,
else
if you
being
were
the
a werewolf,
If you
and
were a
knew
werewolf-
that he was your partner, you could have said you switched them.
or if
It's
you were
so
the only
risky
werewolf,
to say you are
could have
something that you're
looked
not.
at the
Yeah, that's
three
why I waited
here,
for
saw the
Aaron.
robber, and knew no one else was the robber.
Yeah. See, I took some time to see if anyone said anything for a bit, and I was like, no one's saying there's a seer. I'm gonna say I'm the seer, and I saw Eric and that he's a werewolf because I knew that you had been. That was my whole.
Yeah.
That was the whole game. Then you said you were the seer. I'm like,
Why? 'Cause
he's
no
fucking
one has said
lying.
anything.
Let that fucking liar. but
If you
I was
didn't know,
lying.
there'd be no reason. I know.
Oh man.
That's fun. That's probably the best
interesting.
game.
It's just
of
so out of
werewolf that
it's
I've
so
ever
out of your
played.
hands.
It was totally out of my hands. If I did anything, then I would either ruin the game,
Like at least with the
Yeah.
by killing Rick.
with the game we played
Or get myself killed.
last game night with the like you decide to go or you're not. It's all in your hands.
Yeah.
It's just that you lose it all on your own merit. This one, I don't know.
I love
playing,
Aaron's lack of merit.
I'm playing with incomplete pieces.
You have to read people.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Well, some people don't know what they switched. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, see, the last game you had, you should have known you were the werewolf when you swapped the robber.
Yeah.
But I don't think you looked at yours
Yeah.
afterwards. That's the only person who knows
I didn't
by
know you
the
could
end
do
of
that.
it what they are. But even
Yeah.
then, the troublemaker.
Rick
no, I
mentioned
didn't
it
know that.
once, and then every time the rules go
I didn't.
through.
I didn't notice it until I got the robber, and then when he was saying the robber stuff,
Yeah.
I heard him say, "Now look at your new card." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm a werewolf."
So if Shane had known that, then the second round would have been.
It would have been a
lot
little different,
harder.
yeah.
Well, fuck.
Because he probably wouldn't have been like, "I swapped us."
Yeah.
He'd have been like, "Fuck, I gotta come up with something."
Sure. See, I, for the third round, I was like, I'm just gonna say something that's completely wrong. Like I'm the seer. That way, whenever everybody's talking, I can minus that from the other side of the equation.
Sure.
You know, but
Yeah, you throw out misinformation.
Yeah.
See where it lands. and
Yeah.
You know the truth. I like it.
Damn, that's fine. Well,
It's risky because it made me think that you were lying about something to cover your shit, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
well, because we both were saying we were the seer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we had both believed we were the werewolf, you
Yeah.
know, because you were like, "No, I was the werewolf."
yeah.
Hang on a second. Aaron called me out. He must be the seer.
Yeah.
No, I was the seer, bitch.
Well, I thought if you said something like, "Well, it's Aaron," people are gonna just naturally think that he's fucking with him. I'm gonna say, no, he is definitely fucking with him. You know,
Yeah.
just to get the doubt in there. But
Yeah.
I was also like playing on the assumption of like I'm the werewolf from the beginning, so I was thinking about all that stuff, and then Shane said the thing, he switched. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not even the werewolf anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
That was good.
All right.
The old switcheroo.
So got all of us.
The troublemaker
Got me.
I think
I didn't know.
The troublemaker is what makes it so like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got
'Cause
the
they don't know what they
troublemaker.
switched,
I've
you
been
know?
a troublemaker, and I just with the stakes are this high, life and death. I just wouldn't fucking switch the cards.
The trouble I would not make.
Yeah. Why would this little shit do that? You know what I mean?
I was just glad there wasn't an actual seer because that
Yeah.
would have ruined my whole thing.
That would
Yeah.
have been a thing.
It would have. It
'Cause,
was
like,
a gamble.
Whenever you said seer, I'm like, he wasn't the fucking seer. How does that make sense? He's lying.
Oh, it would've been
But
great
how can
if
I
you
tell them
didn't
they were
look-
lying?
It would have been great if you hadn't looked at my thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
if
I
I
had
just
looked at Calvin's and I would have accused it, you are not the seer, then you would have been like, oh, fuck.
Fuck, he knows. Goddamn, I gotta play this out. No, I'm a seer.
Yeah, I
Look,
think
Rick, please.
Yeah, I think if you didn't lie, maybe I don't know. I know why you did it, but
Like,
I definitely didn't trust Aaron for a long time.
I didn't trust Aaron until I thought he was my werewolf brother.
But I was trying to
when
hang
I
you.
said Calvin's, I saw him. He is a werewolf. You looked at me with such like, how dare you betray me? Because you know I did.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though?
But I
if,
was like, I'm definitely a werewolf then.
could you
I'm not a
imagine if
werewolf.
Shane had just been a villager and like we tricked you into that and like you said that without ever being switched?
Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have just said, let's kill Calvin because he is a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I asked. Like, why? Like, we know he's a werewolf,
Yeah. Well, when you said that, I'm like, well, I don't want to hang Calvin.
and he's not.
Well,
being-
what I was trying to say is I was using your information that you gave.
Yeah.
To,
Sure.
You know, and
to convince you to vote.
Well, my
And-
thing was he wasn't very ballsy, so we should definitely kill him.
Yeah, but think about it. You didn't know the robber was in play. So you have one person who swapped sides and knows that they were a werewolf before,
That's
switching
Yeah,
to
but these
somebody
people
who
who-
you don't know what their other card was.
yeah. That's why I tried to play the idea of like I have
Yeah, but
no information
No
on
one
Calvin.
said they swapped you, and he said
Yeah.
he knew who you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to hang Calvin.
Yeah, but you said
But he
you
could have
also
been misdirecting.
in the same
Yeah.
breath though. You said you didn't trust Eric. You thought he was lying. So
I
it's-
didn't want to
it's-
hang Calvin because I thought I was a werewolf.
Yeah. That's why you wanted to hang me.
So no one knew what the hell they were, and then Aaron won because of it.
Yep, that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The werewolves won because of it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more game nights, make sure you guys subscribe and check out Patreon where we have early access for game nights, tabletops, all kinds of fun stuff. And what are you doing? Don't forget, guys. What do we got? I got nothing else. That's it.
No.
I forgot. But don't you forget.
I guess I lost anyway. Aaron's leaving me hanging like a werewolf.
Hanging.